This is the Johnny Cleveland Podcast, all things Cleveland sports, with your host, John Suchan. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Johnny Cleveland Podcast. We are talking to you. It is game day, Sunday, September 29th. Yeah, and the Brownies are out there in Vegas getting ready to take on those Raiders. Let me find a little bit of music here. Hold on. Oh, I got my concerto, my concert music. How you doing? Yeah, we're here. It's Sunday morning, getting close to noon. We are having a pregame show momentarily with myself and Steve Gill and some of our other colleagues. So tune back in a few minutes to watch that. But I wanted to touch base with you on my Johnny Cleveland show, and I hadn't been on here for a week, and thought I'd touch base with everybody and give you my rants, my instant reactions to all that fun stuff that's been happening this week. We had our Stirring the Pot show with Lou Marconi and I back on Monday. That was fun. Had our Fanatical Elf show with the gang. Had everybody out there. A lot of conversations going on about Deshaun Watson, about Kevin Stefanski. They seem to always be in the headlines, right? You know, hard to say where everything goes today. We're all very hopeful. I'm going to start watching the game just like you at 4:30, 4:25. And fingers crossed, if the Browns play well on defense like they have been, if the Browns get some production out of Deshaun Watson, we're going to talk about that here in these next few minutes. I'm not a fan of Deshaun right now. Many of you aren't either. I think we're seeing a lot of things that are worrisome long-term. Now, I know some of you contend that Kevin Stefanski's play calling and whatnot are also reasons for the poor play by the offense, the poor play of Deshaun Watson. When you look at statistics with Deshaun and you go back and look at his time in Houston, he was throwing the ball upwards of 300 yards a game most nights. Here in Cleveland, he's approaching 150, 180. Now, I know the offenses are different. And, our colleague Jarrell Flint all week has been talking to us here in the Fanatical Elves and showing data points and showing how Stefanski's offenses for the last 5 years have been in the bottom third of passing. He's never excelled in that area as an offensive coach. And with the way things are going on right now between Stefanski calling the plays, we got Ken Dorsey who's supposed to be the offensive coordinator, and yet Stefanski's calling those plays. Again, it just gets more emphasized in this time of the season because the Browns are losing. If they go in there to Vegas today, show a poor performance on offense again, and they can't get over 20 points a game, we've got some real issues. We came off this season where the Browns finished 11-6, the Flacco mania, but we talked about this. I've talked about this, that with Stefanski's track record right now, they had that season back in 2020. Yeah, they went 11-5, but then what happened those next 2 years? Sub 500 records. They had every talent in the world back then. We have every talent in the world right now. Everyone coming in this year said on paper, again, we're the Browns. We're looking awesome. All these positions from Myles Garrett to Amari Cooper to Nick Chubb eventually coming back. And it sounds like he's going to be coming back to practice starting next week, which is a really great sign. But again, those 2 years that followed that 11-5 record with Stefanski were sub 500 with Jarvis Landry, with Odell Beckham Jr., with Baker Mayfield. And now we get to this point again where the Browns were 11-6, Stefanski given all the accolades, coach of the year, and here we are 1-2. We're going on the road for the next 3 games. Maybe, getting away from the Boo Birds at home. I mean, I was there, man. You were there, maybe in the stands. Watson was hounded, booed. The team was booed. They aren't showing a lot of motivation. They aren't. The body language of these players is not what it needs to be. Stefanski, why is that? Is he just the wrong guy for this team? I mean, can he not motivate them to get that killer instinct to really drive them to some of these wins? We see some of these things on defense. By the way, what an embarrassing moment. And this is where, I gave some praise to Jim Schwartz, but at the same time, his defense, which has been playing relatively well this season, relatively well, but they've had their big mistakes still. In that early part of the game against the Giants, how embarrassing was it that they get the interception and those players aren't even aware that there was a hit to the head by Greg Newsome. And Greg Newsome is even participating in this bogus, stupid celebration where they get all the players and they do some stupid thing on the field. How embarrassing. Nationally, it was thrown out. And it really is embarrassing. These players are not in tune. That's what separates really great teams from the teams that want to say that they're great. This team is not great. They want to say that they're great, but they're doing knucklehead, crappy, stupid stuff. I mean, the light hit or the hit to the head by Greg Newsome, yeah, he didn't knock him down, but he aimed toward the head and hit him right there in the head. You can't do that kind of crap. And that's what you got to see. And Jim Schwartz should know better. I mean, that team last week, they went up 7-0. What a great start to that game. And then they gave up 21 points to the Giants in the first half. That can't happen out. Raiders coming off of a bad loss to the Carolina Panthers, who everybody thought were the stinkers of the league. Well, the Raiders, they just lost too. So it'll be very interesting. They're going to want to win. They're going to be in front of their home crowd. The Browns, yeah, they got a lot of fans. It's so funny to me because when you see all these highlights and people that are talking about the Browns game today, and they had a whole plane that flew out there to Vegas. You see all these reports on TikTok saying, "Oh, the streets are filled with Browns fans. We're going to overwhelm them. It's going to be just Browns fans in the stands." Come on, folks. I mean, it's a plane full of people, 100 people, 150 people. Okay, maybe you get a few thousand people in that stands. But they're Raiders fans. There's no way that we don't have the advantage. And even if we did have the crowd advantage, what's that going to do for the players and the team? Yeah, it might motivate them a little bit more, but this team needs to get everything together. They need to execute. We heard Deshaun Watson talking about decoys this week. For God's sakes, man, stop with your excuses. And those of you who are defending him and saying, "Oh, it's Kevin Stefanski's fault. It's Kevin Stefanski's offense." No, it's not. It's Deshaun Watson being an idiot and trying to sugarcoat things. And maybe he just lost his interest in playing football and winning football. Honestly, that's all I can, when you hear players making excuses like that was a decoy, when the player was wide open, you know what you're supposed to do with the ball? Throw him the damn ball. Throw him the damn ball. And that's not, hold on, we got something here I was moving that around here. Sorry about that, folks. So yeah, Deshaun Watson really pissed me off. Now, we can say what we want. I mean, that should piss you off as a Browns fan. Him saying, "Well, he's a decoy." Come on, for God's sakes, man. That's just bull crap. Bull crap to the highest degree. He needs to stop playing around. He needs to stop horsing around and play the game. Look like he's interested. Look like his teammates care about him. There's a lot of body language, a lot of things that you see right now on the sidelines. A lot of things that you see when you're not have the cameras on. Last week I know he got hit at one point. I think he got hit pretty good, but he's distant from his players and he's walking around, not communicating with his huddle, only until the last second. I'm not buying this whole thing where all the players are buying into him. We hear that they say that he's a great leader and he'll do all this stuff, but a lot of that is just talk because you're not really seeing that. And you can blame the whole team. You can blame Stefanski for that, and that's where these issues with Stefanski come in, and why I am so concerned about that as well. All right, so Browns have an opportunity. They got their offensive line it's in shambles, okay, but Is that why Watson has 16 sacks so far through 3 games, which is like a record for him and a record for this team? I mean, we knew Watson, if you paid attention to Watson's records over the years and his sacks, he gets sacked. And part of the reason he gets sacked is because he holds on to the ball too damn long. He can't do that any longer. Now, if the Browns want to roll him out, get him out of the pocket, shift all that, great. Try it, okay? But get rid of the damn ball. There was a play in that first or second quarter of that game, I think the second quarter of the game, where Watson, before half, he bought himself some time, had rolled out, and then he decides at the very last second to pass the ball. Well, the pass didn't go far enough past the line of scrimmage, and they were penalized and lost the down. These are some of the boneheaded plays that Deshaun Watson, who's supposed to be this experienced veteran guy, can't do. And he does them time and time again. And it's because I don't think he cares about football. I don't think he cares about winning games for the Cleveland Browns. He knows he's already due a $230 million. And, that's what it is. Now, if he can change his mindset and stop talking about freaking decoys, maybe this team will have some success. But part of the reason that this team had such success last year, and credit to Stefanski and credit Joe Flacco, is because you got a quarterback in there who understood the offense and ran it. Now, supposedly this offense is different. Supposedly it's supposed to be better. Oh my God, it's terrible, right? And what are we doing? It's a combination of just Stefanski continuing to call plays and being conservative at times and then being boneheaded at other times, like the play at the end of the Jacksonville game where he decided to have Watson drop back, supposed to be play action, and he's supposed to take the sack. He gets mad at Watson for not getting sacked there and trying to throw the ball away to stop the clock. Gave Jacksonville an extra minute of time to try to get back in the game, which they almost did. But those are sort of the boneheaded plays that are going on between Stefanski and Watson and the whole team. And let's hope to God that it gets corrected a little bit out there in Vegas. Lord help us, if they lose this game, they're going to be 1-3. It's not the end of the season. Not the end of the season. There's a lot of season to be played. But every loss is going to be magnified. And if they go on this 3-game stretch of away games and can't get a win against the Raiders, against the Commanders, or against the Eagles, just imagine they come back here. What is that, 1-5? They come back to Cleveland. Holy moly. Lord help us that doesn't happen. Because I just don't see. I mean, when do you part ways with Watson? And those of you who continue to say Watson's here to stay, no, he's not. He's not here to stay. That the Browns will figure something out. That they were stupid enough to sign him. They made a deal with the devil. I talked about this a couple of years ago. I wrote about it. They made a deal with the devil, or the owners made a deal with the devil. They didn't need to do this, and they did it. And they've parted ways. They've cut a path for the Browns fans. There are fans that left. There are fans today that I talk to every day that say, I like the Browns, but I just can't root for them because of Deshaun Watson. That's a problem, folks. And those of you who are diehard Browns fans and will continue to say, well, they're just really not true fans. Why? Why do we want to criticize them for not being fans? They have every right to not want. I mean, look, we're all different types of fans. We all love our Browns. But, don't get on these guys, these other people that will say, well, they're not going to follow the team because of Watson. There's a lot of reasons why you don't like Watson. There's a lot of reasons why people don't like Watson. And people don't want to say, well, those are his allegations. Those are things that just, all these things. Okay, well, the Browns were stupid enough. The owners were stupid enough to try to bring this guy in. And maybe they weren't smart enough to understand that this was going to do what it's doing right now. Because it's really divided the fan base. It's made the situation in Cleveland just tough. I mean, how many of you right now are just, this has just been a dreadful start to the season. Usually I was reading, somebody else was talking about, you can always find hope, or there's something to like about the Cleveland Browns, something to like about this team, or the personalities on the team. And the problem this year is you have Nick Chubb, who's we haven't seen very much. You have Amari Cooper, who's coming back and is not seemingly happy. Obviously, he sat out and wasn't part of those negotiations and all that stuff until they signed the 1-year deal. But he's even out here criticizing reporters earlier in the week. There's not a lot of happiness going on right now, so we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed. But that's the thing. Browns shouldn't be fingers crossed. We shouldn't be fingers crossed. we have a good, we have numerous talented players, but this team is not on the same page. I blame Stefanski. I blame Watson. I blame many people. Jim Schwartz's defense is not all that it's cracked up to be. All of you who want to say that this is amazing. I mean, Myles Garrett, bless his heart, the dude, I give him a lot of props for doing what he's been doing and talking the way he has. I mean, he has matured and tried to take on that leadership role. I mean, he's hurt, folks. You know, he's got both legs that are feet that need surgery eventually. He's not going to make it through the season. I mean, I knock on wood that he does, but there's just no way in God's green earth that he's going to. And you and I both know that. And that's part of the other thing here that's just so hard to hold on to, because we're early in the season. We're hopeful that things can turn around. And maybe the Browns reverse their luck today and blow out the Raiders, and we're all excited and celebrating a victory Monday. But who knows, right? Who knows? Hey, let's take a quick break here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast as I try to end my rant about the Browns. We'll be right back. We're back here on the Johnny Cleveland podcast. In good news, the Indians, the tribe, the Guardians, whatever I'd like to call them, the Indians, Guards, whatever. They did make it to the postseason. Congratulations to them. They are struggling against Houston. I'm a little nervous about Houston again, because even though we're playing them right now, it doesn't matter because Cleveland has locked up the number 2 spot, so they don't have to play in the wild card games. They go right into the American League divisional play. But the problem is, right now they would play either the Kansas City Royals or the Houston or the Astros, and the Astros have the Indians number. They have, and I'm concerned going into this series. And I know Cleveland has done very great things this year. We should all be very proud of what they've done, considering everything that's happened to them. They lost their best pitcher at the beginning of the year, but it's good that they'll get a week off to rest and be prepared, and they bring back that good bullpen. But they're going to have to go up against probably Houston or Kansas City, and both teams have played Cleveland very well this year. So even though we get the bye, I'm not feeling great about that. Long term, I think this team is capable of getting to a World Series, which would be fantastic. We've had numerous sellouts this year. The fan base seems like they're really energized again. The team, Jose Ramirez. Well, I wish I had Manny Ramirez back too, but Jose, 39 home runs. Can he hit number 40 today? That would be fantastic if he did. Let's hope that they can maybe finish this season off with a win and beat Houston to give them a taste of a loss before potentially Houston comes back in a week. And Houston coming back in a week after maybe beating the Royals, or the Royals coming in here after beating the Houston Astros. I just not feeling great about that. So we'll see. But it is congratulations to this team to get to the postseason again with a young coach and a team that should continue to be very good over the next several seasons. Unlike, the Browns, they have a talented team that seems to be likable. We like Jose Ramirez. We like Naylor. We like Stephen Kwan. We like many of these players and their drive and their commitment to Cleveland. We'll see what happens with the Browns today as well, as they go down there to Vegas. We're going to have a pregame show here momentarily. Stephen Gill, I believe, is going to be joining me, so I'll be back on in about 20 minutes. Before that, just want to, again, let's just hope the Browns get it together today. Hope that they can stay on the same page and play well as a team. If they can do all things well and not make or limit their mistakes, maybe create some turnovers out there, the Browns can certainly come home with a victory. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I caution people who say, well, we should just roll over the Raiders. No, the Raiders have a 17-10 lifetime series lead over this team. The Browns have only won back then in 2012 and 2006. So it's going to take a lot for this team to come home with a victory. I got my fingers crossed. I'm knocking on wood that this team will be successful this afternoon. 4:25, catch the game. We'll have a post-game show afterwards. and all the other shows coming down the pike. Everybody take care. Go Browns. See ya. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Thanks, Mike, for praying. I agree with you, Mike. Thanks for watching the show today. Everybody have a great day.